Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'm doing one last job for preschool. So while past Chris brings in the materials, I'll tell you that earlier this summer I built this thing with perspex that the children draw on either side of, and now they want two more. One with this smaller piece of perspex in it and the other with a bit of this whiteboard in it. I took it down elsewhere at the school. Wow! And she lives to fight another day. Where were we? I took it down elsewhere at the school and it's pretty rough in places, but this section that I'm indicating here should be fine once I've trimmed it down. So let's get started on the smaller frame first taking some measurements of the perspex. Then cutting lots of 2x2 material with the miter saw and drilling and screwing it together. Next, I want to fit the piece of perspex before putting the frame on legs, but to do that I need some kind of beading to hold it in, same as a window works. Now when I last built one of these I used this rounded shop-bought stuff, but my god was it expensive, so today I'm going to try and make my own. This of course requires the table saw, but I've got a new tool to go with it today. My dad recently got this Evolution wet and dry vacuum cleaner and he said I could borrow it whenever I'm using the table saw because it could also be used as an extractor to hoover up all the dust from the saw as it cuts. Setup is pretty simple. I plug the vacuum into the mains, the vacuum tube into the back of the saw, and then the saw plugs into this socket on the vacuum. This way when I power the saw on or off, the vacuum turns on or off as well. And with that working nicely, I can get to experimenting at making homemade beading, and let's time-lapse it because it took a bit of faffing about, changing the angle of the blade, etc. And there we are, some nice triangular beads to hold the perspex in, so now I can cut it to length and nail it to the frame. Moment of truth, does the perspex actually fit? And yes it does. And then obviously nail the beading to the other side as well. And finally, as usual, we need some diagonal braces to firm everything up, so I've cut them to length and I'm just screwing them on now. Right, so that's this smaller perspex one built, and the frame for the whiteboard one is going to be exactly the same, so we might as well just time warp forward to the same stage. And now to resize the whiteboard, first I need to take these bits of metal off the edges. I don't know if these will go back on, but I definitely need them off for now in order to cut the board. The other thing that might make it difficult for me to put the metal back on is the fact that over time all four of these rounded plastic corner things have gone brittle and broken, as I'm showing here. But hey, these are all future Chris's problems, so for now I've got the circular saw out and I'm going to lop off the majority of the stuff we don't want, the stuff that's all bubbled up, and then take some nice slow cuts down to final dimensions. Slight snag. I'm cutting down the whiteboard, as I'm no doubt saying, and I was about to cut it to 120 by 600, the size of a piece of perspex that we buy, so that when the whiteboard eventually falls to pieces, I can take it off and slot a piece of perspex inside the frame in the same fashion as I have done on the smaller one and the bigger one that I built initially. However, I'm putting the whiteboard on the front of the frame because it's too thick, or at least I think it is. Is it actually? Am I just waffling for no reason and causing myself problems when I could just make some more of that beading and fix it on? Yes, past Chris is indeed talking out of his ass. Having measured the board, I think it is just about thin enough to put inside the frame, so I'm abandoning the metal edges and cutting the whiteboard to exactly 1200 by 600 millimeters. And with that done, we just need to nail it in place with some more homemade beading, so let's return to past Chris for that. Alrighty then, quick before it starts raining, I'm going to get this nailed on here, and if I can get it done before sort of, well, 3 o'clock when school finishes, I will try and run it up there, well, film an outro, finish it, film an outro, and run it up there, both of them up there, before the teachers go home, so I can sort of surprise them with it. Because it was only Mum that knows about it. Normally the teachers only find out once I've finished, left it up, you know, at the school and then gone home. They come in the next day or on the Monday or whenever and go, oh, we've got new things. Beautifully said, past Chris, beautifully said. And now the last thing I need to do on these is to run a sander over them, because these days children are delicate apparently and can't be allowed to get splinters. So a quick sand over to make them child safe and we're all done. Alrighty then, 1, 2 are done. I shall run them up to the school now, as I said. Hopefully I've explained everything in the voiceover. Bit of a change of plan on this one, but hopefully for the better rather than for the worse, otherwise it would have only taken me more time to try and work out how to maybe get the metal back on the sides and then screw it on the front, and then have to abandon it because it's no good, and then the piece of whiteboard being too small. This one was nice and straightforward. So hope you've enjoyed watching. A bit of an insight into the kind of thing that I do for preschool and how it goes down. Yeah, goodbye, see you in the next video.